Happy Thursday! Today is March 27th, 2025, and tomorrow the peak bloom begins in Washington, D.C. Hi, I'm meteorologist Tom Schmidt at Color 10, Fox 49 in Springfield, Missouri. Now, we're talking about cherry trees. The cherry bloom has begun. Now, this annual bloom brings in an estimated 1.6 million visitors to Washington, D.C. every year. Now, there are just over 3,000 cherry trees in Washington, D.C., and they were a gift from Tokyo, Japan in 1912 as a symbol of friendship between the two countries. Although things changed quickly with World War II beginning just 25 years later. Today the relationship is flourishing once again. Cherry trees have a maximum lifespan of roughly 40 years, so the trees you see today are not the ones originally gifted from Japan. The trees, though, currently covering Washington, D.C., were propagated from the original gifted trees. This means the ones we see today are the grandchildren and great-grandchildren of the original cherry trees from Japan. Did you also know that this was the second gift of cherry trees from Tokyo? 2,000 cherry trees were originally gifted to the United States in 1910. However, this first gift of cherry trees was inspected by the Department of Agriculture and was found to be diseased and infested with bugs. In order to protect the American tree growers from the diseases, it was concluded that the trees must be destroyed. President Taft gave permission to burn the trees on January 28, 1910. Try again. And Tokyo did. The Tokyo mayor, Yukio Ozaki, took the news as a challenge, and he eagerly got to work on how to send another gift. The next gift grew to 3,020 trees that were grafted carefully from selected examples in Japan. This second attempt was successfully gifted in 1912. Now, the National Cherry Blossom Festival is from March 20th through April 13th and honors traditional cultural exchanges and international friendships. And there you go. So the bloom is happening currently for us out there. And one of our very own, Bethany French, joins us now. And Bethany, you've been to Washington, D.C. during the Cherry Blossom Festival.
Yeah, that's right. I've actually gotten a chance to see the cherry blossoms in D.C. 2 different times. Once was back when in 8th grade. I was 14. It was a school trip that we took. And we were there kind of just before peak cherry blossom season. You're just starting to see a few of the blooms in the buds. But then right as we were leaving, we got to see a lot of them blooming. And the second time was a little bit more recently, was in 2023. That was a college trip that I took. But this picture right here that you can see, that's me in 8th grade. Aren't I so cute? But this tree, I don't believe that this is one of the traditional Japanese cherry blossom trees. You can see it was a pink flower, and that's what I was focused on at the moment. But we did get a chance to go out to the mall and to see the National Mall and all of the cherry blossoms there. And this was a picture that I took when I was there in college. So this was in 2023. We were there for a school trip with College of the Ozarks. I was actually there within 2 different trips within just a couple days of each other. And we went to the mall at night to see the monuments lit up and got a good chance to see all of the trees lining that there and get some cool pictures taken. So it really is a very neat experience to go and see those cherry blossoms. These were some ones that my friend Laura and I found on the ground that we picked up and took a picture with because it was really neat, and we were there for probably a good hour or two just looking at the trees and at the National Mall. And yeah, it's a really, really neat experience to see it, especially during that time and at night. That is Dr. David Dalton there, a history professor at College of the Ozarks. He's telling us a little bit about Thomas Jefferson because we're sitting at the Jefferson Memorial, looking out towards the Washington Memorial there. And so that's kind of what it looked like. It was dark, so you can't really see the cherry blossoms there. But they are all there, just kind of lining it. And it makes it really picturesque and just a lot prettier, I think, than it would be if you were there any other time of year. It just kind of adds a whole other element to this trip and this fantastic opportunity that you're already taking to get to visit our nation's capital. So, yeah.
It's so cool, and like we found out, I mean, over 1.5 million people come to visit Washington, D.C. specifically for just checking out the cherry blossoms, and it's neat. I mean, it's pretty. Washington, D.C. is already pretty. You've been, I've never been, but you see all the monuments and everything there already that looks nice, and add on a bunch of blooms, pretty pinks and whites, and It really comes together.
Yeah, can confirm there are usually a lot of people there during peak cherry blossom season. You run into a lot of different people from all walks of life who are there getting to see the trees. But it is really a neat experience to be able to see these trees that have stood the test of time in a way, at least, the grandchildren of those original trees that were gifted to us from Japan. But yeah, really neat experience that a lot of people take advantage of. And I would definitely recommend. I mean, if you're planning a trip to Washington, D.C. to visit the nation's capital in the first place, and you've got the opportunity to do it, end of March through April, it really does kind of add to the experience of getting to see those cherry blossoms in bloom.
It sure does. And if you don't have a chance to go to D.C. in person, they've got actually a live camera there set up looking at the Jefferson Memorial. And this is live. And you can see those cherry blossoms lining the water there on the shoreline and the crowds. Look at the people walking around, obviously checking out the monuments, but also checking out some of those blossoms.
Yeah, I had no idea that they had a live camera there that you could just kind of take a peek and see what was going on with the mall and with the cherry blossoms. They just changed the angle there. But it's really neat to see, you can see those pinks and those whites peeking out in between the regular trees and then, the Jefferson Monument there. So a neat opportunity, and I'm sure all of those people that are walking along right now are enjoying the weather and those cherry blossoms.
I'm sure they are. Yeah, it's always, it's always a busy time, but looking at that view, it looks really nice out there. Now, Bethany, if you don't want to go all the way to Washington, D.C., did you know you can stay right here in the Ozarks?
I did not realize that. Do we have cherry blossom trees here in the Ozarks?
We have a few of them. Now, we're going to play this video here real quick. But if you don't want to travel to Washington, D.C. for the cherry blossoms, you can stay right here in Missouri's own Marshfield.
Wow.
Bethany, the Marshfield's Missouri Cherry Blossom Festival is scheduled for April 24th and 27th this year. This will be the 20th annual Missouri Cherry Blossom Festival. The Marshfield Festival began after a resident returned home from interning in Washington, D.C., and he wanted to bring a piece of the nation's capital back home with him.
Wow.
So he saw these same pictures we're looking at. He saw this and thought, man, this would really be nice to bring some of this back to Missouri. Now, the first tree was planted at the Webster County Museum in 2004, and the festival was officially organized in 2006. Now, this year's festival will feature several actors, all right, from shows like Dallas, Step by Step, Little House on the Prairie, The Waltons, Mama's Family,
Wow.
some older shows you may remember there. And then additionally, you're looking at presidential descendants. We're looking at the lineage of presidents past, cousins, second cousins, down the line for several generations possible there, and as well as a few Disney stars being in attendance. Now, for more information on that Marshfield Cherry Blossom Festival, you can go check out our website at ozarksfirst.com.
Now that sounds like something that would be a lot of fun, a very good thing to be able to get out and do, to see cherry blossoms right here in Missouri, because I did not realize that we had that, just 20 minutes down the road.
I know, and it started with just one tree, and it's grown into where there's now that there's a couple streets that are actually lined with cherry trees in Marshfield. And so recent pictures from over there show that the buds are just now starting to pop a little bit, but we're still probably a good couple weeks away from when they really start to go in full bloom. So go back, check out Marshfield mid-April.
Yeah.
And that festival again, April 24th through 27th. Well, Bethany, thanks for being here. Thanks for your input.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, giving me a chance to show some of those lovely pictures from the various trips that I've taken. They were all a lot of fun. It's a really neat opportunity to get to see the nation's capital and be there for that. So glad I could talk about it.
Worth checking out. In the meantime, I'm meteorologist Tom Schmidt, Bethany French, signing off from the Ozarks First Digital Desk. Happy Thursday.